First of all, I suppose, just to let go, I don't use TouchDesigner professionally. I've only ever used it in my attic. So this is my first time showing what I've been working with, apart from my brother. So basically, why did I develop this? When I started using TouchDesigner, first thing I realized was so many parameters, so many controls, things to tweak. I just couldn't keep track of them. And basically, the network thing, remembering when I put things in the network was kind of something I found difficult. So I looked at using TouchDesigner is very good at creating interfaces by your buttons and sliders, and you can use those on a touch screen. But the touch screen for me wasn't very tactile, and I kind of didn't like the feel of it. I was much more into the physical buttons. Also, I had a problem with, say, when I had the mouse working on TouchDesigner, and I hit touchscreen, it would pull the mouse away. So when you're developing a project, that was kind of not very good. So I looked at MIDI controllers, and I have an MP3. So I looked at MIDI controllers, and the thing about them was you could have all these banks of knobs, but with no names. I found it difficult. What numbers for what? And then when you're assigning, yes, that was a difficulty. But I also used Ableton, and I pushed in Ableton. And the nice thing about Ableton, if anybody, I presume a lot of people are familiar with it, if you use Ableton and you put a device onto a track, automatically the controls of that device come up in Ableton. And that'd be fantastic if I had that, something like that in TouchDesigner using the Ableton push. So I'm now in the rabbit hole of trying to put something together. One thing I had a problem with the screen, how to get access to the screen. But there was a guy online, David Butler. He created a Max for Live device called IMP.push. And this was basically what that was. If you see up in the corner here, that block there is 960 pixels by 160 pixels. And this device here basically gives you access to a section of your monitor. Now, typically I'd have a dummy monitor. It's like a USB key, and I just have to push running from that. But here, put it on the screen here, and I have that on the push here. So that gave me access to seeing things. So I thought, oh gosh, I'm nearly there. But obviously I wasn't, because I had no idea how to write Python. And one learning that creating a dynamic interface, you need Python. And my brother, he programs in Visual Basic. He said, no problem with that. But the interaction was getting a bit crazy. But at around that time, AI came out. And that's absolute godsend. Because now I was able to ask it, can I describe it while doing in-push design, in TouchDesigner, and it would write the code for me. And this really led me to be able to do what I was doing here. But when I was creating it, I had a very clear criteria, and that was, I had a very clear criteria. It had to be quick to make controls, and it had to be quick to navigate the network. And also not really interfere with how I use TouchDesigner when I'm developing a project. So a few moments later, actually 2 years later, this is what I've come up with. So I just have a network here. A network is really, really simple, and just to demonstrate. So if you can see, yeah. This is the part of it, and inside that then I just have a few nodes that I want to control. And they're very simple, just like a box and chorus or something like that. So they're very simple in their format. So to assign controls, I zoom in here, and we look at this. So this is just Fox, in a geo, and I have controls here to rotation. So to assign the controls to that, and push, you can see here on this, tapping this guy, it says select an operator, which I've selected this guy. So we just push that in this moment. And I just tap the pad, and the next one, tap the pad, next one, tap the pad. So this one. So what's after happening here now is these controls are up here. So if I go back to my main operator, so if I want to rotate the cube, I have the controls there automatically. You didn't have to assign them. So they're kind of built automatically. If I want to control the whatever that is. So controls are automatically assigned. Now I can have as many of these as I like, it doesn't matter. It's just whichever operators I select. So that's the crux of it. And as for getting around the network, if I just tap the button, it gets me to wherever I want to go. For example, this is a rectangle. Again, there's controls on that side and that. Yeah. So it automatically picks up the parameters in operators and puts them on the screen for me. So I just, okay, that's the pattern. So just to give you an idea of how I went about this, I'm not going to go into all the details because a lot of the code I don't actually understand, but I'll give you an idea for that, how I came to this point. With the MIDI, we say that's all the MIDI coming in from the push to. Then I have all those named, like all the different buttons. The push has all these button names, so I just name them so as I easily find them when I'm developing. And head groups. This is, I suppose, this is the kind of crux of it in one sense. You can see the patterns here, same previous. But the main things to look at here is the hit, the touch. So if I touch head, that's taking velocity. So within a velocity, I'm just touching the pad, and if I hit it, harder it hits the pad. Now I have a pad sensitivity, if you can see up there, pad sensitivity up at the very top. I can change that to suit if I'm hitting too hard or too soft. So that's the MIDI side of it. Pots, I got these pots, so ignore those errors, they come in because there's no parameters there. The pots are going, basically what it's doing is, when I turn it left, it's adding, and when I turn it right, it's adding. So I'm using those figures to control parameters. So whether it is -1, +1, that kind of way. And also on the touch, if you look at these two strips here, I have these as they're nudging, one up, one down, one unit up, one unit down. Now the thing is, I found that when using it, we say if we go to let me see now, yeah. The scale there, it's working in one, we call it 1 unit. But I put in this, see up in the power, up here, that's changing the increments. So when I can scale very small, larger, or quite big. So I've got kind of dynamic control of the increments as I go. That's done by, it's right here. You can see in this increments there. Also, the decimal places is handy because it's giving me the decimal. Otherwise, I would go to zeros on the push control, which I don't want to be looking at. Let me see now what else. Yeah, I guess the other thing is what happens when you assign a child. Let me see. Or here, find something. Yeah, we take this guy here. He's not a signer, it's a camera with all these controls, but I'm going to open just watch the tags. So if I go to assign him somewhere, here we'll see, it's after writing a number of tags. And that's the key to what I'm doing. I'm using tags in tables. So it's putting, using a up bind in it. So I'm using the up bind to make use of these tags. Now, and when I discovered that, I thought, oh my goodness, this opens a whole bunch of possibilities. Because if you can see the tag here is D type C. I don't know if you can read that there. So that's default type C. That's custom controls. Because you've got, if I click this, it's default type B. So I now default to built-in controls. So the camera obviously has loads and loads of built-in controls in slow through. So let me see. Just to explain a bit. Then if not, there's only 4 tags there at the moment. But just say, if, for example, I'm looking at the background color and I say, oh, I need to get back to that at another stage. So I just hold. You can see I'm pushed it. I'm on this guy and I say these 4 are like 4 variations. So I add, and that's the sign there. And to say, and another time I might need to go to, I would say focal length, that position, and I need the buttons to be at this position. So I just add that there, and let me see, I just put it in 4 and random, that it doesn't matter. So you can see all the tags that have been generated here. Well, there's the number, obviously now I can just click around. So when I'm using it, I can go to the various parts with fairly lively. The other nice thing is it remembers those. So if I go to another operator and let me see, I know when it doesn't matter. I go to another operator, and I change position. But if I go back to the camera, it remembers that one, so I can store them as I go. And when you're developing in TouchDesigner, you're kind of, I found that very useful in the sense of when I'm bouncing around the network, they're always remembered, which is handy. Let me see now what it is. So another part then is the op file. This here is looking at, there's only ever going to be 48 operators in here. I post 2 rows of pads used for the up and down, and all these pads here then are listed in the op file. And for some reason I'm locking that each time. Let's see. I would let them when I select the pad, all that's happening is this operator is selecting that one patch from the op file. So I know that's the patch, that's the operator I'm dealing with. And that's passed through a parameters shop. So if I click the camera, all the parameters of the camera are in here, listed. So as you go around, it just pushes in the parameters of the selected op into that parameters chart. And what I'm doing with that then is organization is number of ways, and there's rotaries and buttons. And basically, we just look at the rotary side here. So you have all the operators coming in here, but we want 8 rotaries. So I'm just looking at 8 at a time. You can see here on this chat, as I scroll through the operators, it's just looking at 8 in that table, yeah? And also when you use the buttons. So basically what it's doing is the start and end row is being picked up by the tags or this part here. So that's that side of it. Let me see now. Yeah, and I'm guessing what's really useful as well is when you go into an operator, for example, see, look here at the very first, you can see what I'm highlighting up there. So when I touch it, it highlights it. If I tap it once, so if I go back over, so I touch, I highlight it. If I tap it once, it brings up the controls here. But it's not showing up here. So I can be working in different parts of the network. And if I tap it again, it brings it in, if I needed it. And if I tap it again, it takes me in there and it lets me see the full network that's inside of that. If I need the controls of that, then say like the custom parameters, or the parameters, say when I'm going to assign something here. Excuse me. I have over here, I can just tap this, it brings up the custom parameters of the project above. Or I can bring up the main parameters, and that's handy because I can just assign them quickly in that sense. Colors. Am I time-wise? I have no idea.
You have still 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Colors then. Let me see. If I just put yeah, I'll use this guy here. So here's rectangle. If you look over here, the rectangle, yeah? It's pink, and then the pink square here. Let's just, let me see. See? So if I just change color of him, the little square changes. Where with the over, if I select him, color here matches the family color, because yeah. Where if I go to this is a component, the basic whatever color there needs me up here now is just going to be black and white, so I know I'm on a component rather than an operator. Yeah, you get that anyway. So the color here, if I change it, you can see here that color changes there on your driver. And the colors are kind of handy because when you're used to look at your network and you see your operators different colors, when you're looking at the push screen, it kind of links the mind for some reason or other. And you'll be able to get, like, they can get around nice and quickly. What I like about it is they're fast to put the controls on the screen, and also, so if I'm working in a section of a network and I put a load of these on the screen, and if I'm not going to use them, then it's very fast just to take them all off again. And I have more space and more operational people back. So I think that's about it. I don't have any more to say about it. That's it.